especially for St Albans. That's due to a demo.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on my 2014 Volkswagen Passat estate. Had a few lights come on when we was on holiday last week. Just done a 200-mile round trip up to where we were staying. Excuse the trains as always. Stopped off at my brother's. Was there for a couple of hours, come out, went to drive to our accommodation. Initially it felt like the ABS was kicking in. I was only rolling at very low speed because it was obviously in a residential area. It's just being generally very weird. And then all of a sudden all the lights decided to come on. I'll put a screenshot of that on now. Once all the lights come on, the car started to drive normally, or rather the brakes started acting normally as you would expect. Obviously without the ABS and electronic stability program and all the rest of it. Interestingly, the start-stop decided to work at the same time as well because of those faults. Thankfully I carry a little Wi-Fi dongle thing that connects to your phone and to the OBD2 port, so I was able to scan through the codes, which hopefully I'll overlay on the screen, and it all indicates to the near side rear wheel speed sensor. So that's what we're going to have a look at today. It's just going to be a basic video, I think, this one. I'm going to try and keep it simple. We'll do a little bit of problem solving. We'll check the leads that runs between the ABS sensor and the car, and there's obviously going to be a plug along the way, so let's see what we can find. So here we are in the wheel arch. I'm just going to start off really by having a quick look at try and see if I can see the sensor itself. As you can probably see there, sorry for the jerky camera work there. It all looks in pretty good condition where it's all exposed there. Obviously the cable comes around here and then up into the wheel liner here. So let's see about getting that wheel liner off and see if we can find the plug and just check that. So I'm going to start by removing these T20 screws here. We're only going to take some of this liner out. There's another hidden screw right under here. I don't know if you can see that there or not. out of there. Does that give us any more room to manoeuvre? Still feels pretty tight in there. Feels like this is still on somewhere. Another screw right here. Well, I don't think that's what's holding all of this plastic stuff in. It feels like there's a clip or something I need to... It is starting to make progress. Seems like it's going to play nicely now that I've removed all the crap out of there. Still can't quite work out what's holding this part in here. I've got another screw up here, there. And there's another one just up there. Of course, you can't see anything. That's very clever of me. So I'm struggling to get a good camera shot here. But you can see there's another screw here, and there's another one right up into the arch. Just about there. I'll get those removed and see if that gives us any more room to work with. Okay, so I've had a bit of a play with this off camera, and this bit of plastic here is actually screwed on behind the felt sort of lining here, so this must slide out like that, and that gives us access behind here. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to get much further than this because it's obviously plugged in inside the car there, and not actually outside the car as I was expecting. So for what it's worth, all this wiring looks like it's in pretty good condition to me. Just need to find how that sensor unplugs now, if it unplugs actually down at the sensor itself. Right, hopefully you can see that. You're going to have to put up with Handycam for a minute. This is the sensor here. Now I can't even, you can see more than me at this moment in time. I can't even get my head in there to see what size hex nut that is. It feels like a hex bolt. Not too sure. This feels like it might be a plug that you can remove. As you can tell, I'm making this up as I go along. So I'll see if I could get that off and see how this, see if the sensor even comes out, and then we can have a look at that. So apologies, you're not going to see a lot of this. I can hardly see anything myself, but I have found that this is a 4mm hex bolt. I'm going to try and somehow get this in place. It's going to be quite tight, I think, with the wire being there, but I think we'll be able to do it. I'm hoping it's not going to be too tight. Oh, no, there it goes. So while I'm just undoing this, one of the things that I had a quick research online with this, and what can sometimes happen is the sensor itself is okay, but the wheel bearing can actually play up, or there's a fault that happens within the bearing itself. The bearing itself is fine, but I think it's the reluctor ring that's inside that can, I assume, rust away. Now I've undone that bolt, and helpfully this is not coming out. I don't think there's any other bolts in there that I'm missing. Like I say, I can't see an awful lot here at all. Let's see, I'll give it a wiggle. So all I'm doing here is just wiggling it from side to side to try and hopefully it will release. Like I say before, I can't really get in here to see what's going on. So after a lot of wiggling and tugging, I managed to pull the sensor out. It doesn't look physically damaged in any way, but the good news is we can unplug it from here. Push down a bit, and all I'm going to do here is just try and just inspect the plug connections in there. Might need to grab a screwdriver for this. Little electrical screwdriver acquired. Let's see if I can get you in shot there. Let's try and pry that open if I can. Not too sure how this actually unclips, but I'm absolutely sure this is the incorrect way of doing it. Now that looks like it moves. Ah, there we go. Well, I don't know about you guys. That looks pretty clean in there. I think we can safely say that the wiring isn't going to be the problem. There's a part number on there. This is more for my reference as much as it is for yours. That looks in quite good condition. What I'm going to do next, I'm going to try and actually... Hello everybody, so it's the next day now. I decided to phone up my local motor factors and see if they had a new speed sensor in store, or was able to order one in for me. Thankfully they was able to order one in and got it in the same day. So they supply these Canberry, however you pronounce that, sensors. There's the part number. Interestingly, they did ask what side it was on, and also whether it was front or rear. So leads me to think that these sensors are handed as well as the position they're actually fitted in. It's exactly the same as the old one. A little bit of housekeeping. Yesterday I said I undone the bolt that retains the speed sensor. Was a 4mm hex drive. It's in fact a T30, as you can see there. A 4mm does seem to fit it quite well, but if yours is tight it'll probably round it off if you're not careful. I really wanted to do a little bit of testing with you with regards to this cable. So I've got a couple of these here. These are called T-pins, for rather obviously really, and they've got a nice sharp point on the end. And these are ideal for sneaking in there into the connectors here. Let's see if I can get this on camera at the same time. So hopefully you can see that there's not a lot of room for me to work in here. So all I've done is I've sneaked that in I've not actually pushed it into the connector there. I've just put it in on the side of it because I don't want to spread those pins apart. So just pop them in there for a second. So I've got a standard voltmeter here. Let's see if I can set that up somewhere I can show you. I've put it on DC volts. Can you see that? Yeah, that's on the screen. And what I'm going to do, this is just basically to test the integrity of the wire in there. So I'm just going to turn the ignition on. So ignition's on. I've not started the engine, don't need to. Just made sure all the ignition lights are on. So doesn't matter which way around you do this, the meter will either show a positive or a negative. As you can see there, it's a negative, so I've obviously got the positive lead on the negative pin, but as you can see we're getting, if I get a good connection here, 10.7 volts. As I say, it's just battery voltage, probably a little bit of losses through the wiring and for everything else, and having the ignition on and everything. So that proves that the wiring's working. Right, so let's get this sensor installed. Okay, apologies for such a shoddy camera angle. It is near enough impossible to get you anywhere where you can see. Even I can't see what I'm doing at the position I'm working at. So anyway, let's got the sensor here. I'm going to try and put it into this hole here where it come from, hopefully. Like I said, it's purely and utterly guesswork at the moment of where this actually goes. There we go, that seems to have gone in. Now it's just a case of trying to find where the bolt hole goes. It's probably one of them situations where you have the car on the lift and it's as easy as anything. Right, let's see if I could get the bolt in. This, I think, is going to prove a little bit more tricky. Oh, damn spring's in the way. Right, I've got the screw or the bolt in the hole. Now I just need to align the actual sensor. I don't know whether I'm anywhere near it. I could be completely off it. Feels like it's going in. Ah, it is. How on earth I managed to do that is beyond even me. Right, anyway, let's get the ratchet. Make sure it's tightening. I'm just going to nip this up. It wasn't very tight before. Okay. Now put the plug back on. That should be nice and simple. Famous last words, eh? That just pushes on like so. Make sure that's on nice and tight, and the clip's clipped in. It hasn't. I haven't pushed it on quite tight enough. There we go, that's clipped in now. Nice. Okay, so now it's just a case of getting the wheel back on and doing up the road bolts. Okay, so that's the car back on all four wheels, on all fours you could say. Let's see how we get on here. Okay, so far so good. Let me go and take it for a drive and then I'll come back to you. So I've been for a short drive, all the lights are out, everything seems to have reset itself okay, braking is back to normal as it was. Remember before I was getting like a false ABS sort of activation, if you like. Not getting any of that now. I'm braking pretty hard on the way, well, on this test drive. Yeah, so everything seems to be back to normal. So there we are, back home now. Everything all okay, as I've just said before. Hopefully this could go back in service and be the ever so reliable mile muncher that it is. So thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you again soon, and I'll see you in the next video.